me to go ahead and do this type of presentation because I actually had 2 calls in the last 2 weeks from 2 different people, 2 different agencies, didn't know each other, on how to set up a leadership and a supervisory program. And I spent like an hour on the phone with one person, 40 minutes on the phone with another person, and they're like, "Can I call you back? After I do some of these things." So I was like, "Okay, so instead of doing it one-on-one, let me just go ahead and share some of the information, some of the experiences that I've had, throughout the years in leadership training for GS 14s and 15s. So what we're going to talk about today on the agenda is I'll tell you a little bit about my background. Some of these, I'm still at GAO. I've been at GAO for the last 3.5 years, and I'll talk a little bit about the things I've done there. But we're also going to take a look at some of the things that are really important for effective training for GS 14s, GS 15s, and even folks who are like GS 13s. We've done high potential training for even GS 7s in the field because outside of DC, you have GS 7s who are supervisors, especially in DoD. So these are things that I found that are best. Well, I'm not going to call them best practices. I'm going to call them effective practices because what you have to do is every agency is different, and what you're going to have to do is tailor it to the needs of your population and as well as to the nature of your agency. So we'll talk a little bit about, first of all, how to get, what is the desired goal, which is, we'll talk about competency modeling. How do you figure out what the gap is, which looks at the assessments, and what are you going to use to fill those gaps, which are some of the things in terms of coaching, mentoring, some of the other things that I have listed here. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about myself.